Money and relationships, how to ensure is magic and not misery. Now, money is cited as the number one cause of relationship breakup. It is cited as the number one reason for divorces in most of the Western world. And many people share that this aspect of life, the relationships and how to have money conversations, decisions, choices, stresses around money, can be really impact the other areas of their relationship. So how do you actually use money to enhance your relationship, to expand it? And I'm not talking as a way just to go and buy yourself out of shit that you got yourself into, or get yourself a gift, or pay your way out. No, I'm talking about how do we have empowered relationships with money to actually increase intimacy in relationships. Well, the first thing is, firstly, get clear on your own money stuff. You've got to really be able to spend some time and know what is money to you. Spend some time thinking about what were you taught about money? What are your beliefs around money? What did your parents teach you about money? How did they manage money? Do you even have a money management system, or is it just sort of some rambled thing? Because what happens is in a relationship, we have two people with their own money stuff, and then we have this coming together and we have this whole new entity called a relationship, and it develops its own money relationship as well as this blend of these two personalities. So firstly, get really clear on what's going on in your money world. How do you manage it? Do you have a relationship? What are your beliefs around money? And if you don't actually have those things in place, get them in place so you can sort out your own money stuff. If you've got debt, get blitzing it, take responsibility, get intimate with your money. So how do you start bringing this intimacy in relationships? So when you're getting into a relationship, it's super important that you start having money conversations early. A terrifying statistic is that 2 in 4 couples, when they get engaged, have not yet had an empowered money conversation to a level of understanding, does the other person have debt? How do they manage their money? What do they earn? What do they spend their money on? Terrifying. You're prepared to get intimate in a whole lot of other areas, but not know this part around your partner. Many people, when they get married, it's the first time they even know whether the other person's got debt. Are they investing? And so no wonder this is a huge area of challenge. So early on in a relationship, find a way to bring money into a conversation. It can be done in a very casual way and say, hey, if you were to get a lump sum of money coming to you, what would you do with this? This will start giving you an indication. Does the person have some financial literacy? Do they understand about investing? Not to judge them or not, just know where it stands. You can also say, hey, do you have consumer debt? Now, many people are so worried that, am I going to be seen greedy or whatever in terms of money? And this is super important that you notice that's your own money stuff coming up, because money is important. If you can't talk about it in an empowered way, you're going to have real problems later on in relationships, learning how to do that in a combined way. So you want to know, how do they manage their money? Yeah, you can say, hey, there's this woman, Ann Wilson, and I've been practicing Wealth Pie as my money management system. Do you actually have a process for managing money? You can go, do you save? What are the kind of things that you save for? How do you deal with, people who ask you for money? Do you lend money to people? It's just great conversation starters that you can have. A great fun question to start a money conversation is to ask somebody, and I encourage you to ask it with your spouse, your partners, your kids, is to write down for yourself, what is a small amount of money and what is a big amount of money? Just write that down and ask the person that you're with, somebody else, to also write it down, not say it out loud, and then reveal to each other. Because this will also help you to know that we all have completely different models around what is big, what is small, and when it comes to money, why it's so important we're able to know each other's metrics around this, so that as we start having money conversations, we know how important it is to get specific. Because as you start having shared money life, it's going to be really important that if a small amount of money for you is maybe $10, but a small amount of money for your partner is $1,000, and if you agree one of your money rules is that you're free to spend without conversation with each other. If it's a small amount of money, you could end up with a lot of challenges in that situation. You want to know if they've got consumer debts. You want to know if they've got assets. Are they investing? You also want to know, what are their beliefs around money and wealth? You want to know, do they have any financial goals and plans, and what's their view around that? So this is almost your financial due diligence that you want to start, and you want to get started pretty soon in a relationship, because if there's a big difference in your money values and what you're wanting from money in your life, rather know that sooner than later. And now, as you have maybe decided they've passed the first due diligence, as you start interweaving and you create this entity called your relationship together, it's super important that you have conversations about how are you going to manage your money. How are you going to manage your money as two individuals, because it's really important you stay as two individuals. And this thing called the relationship also needs to have its own money stuff. It needs to have its own budget. It needs to have its own financial goals. It needs to have its own investments. So you start having conversations about how you're going to hold assets in your own names and how you're going to hold assets jointly, so that you ensure you're all financially growing and financially stable and successful as this whole entity called this partnership that you're creating. You also want to create your money rules. Every relationship should have a set of money rules, things that you agree you will and won't do. Parameters of when you will have agreed money conversations. Parameters around how you're going to spend your money. What is the money management system you're going to use? Rules around investing and saving. Rules around the use of debt. And it's super important you have these openly and you communicate these rules together. The next aspect of money intimacy in a relationship is having a money management system that is transparent, that you both understand and you agree to. Because if you have different systems, you're going to have a lot of conflict in that. And so how are you going to manage the money day to day? What are the transaction accounts? Is it going to be a joint account? What goes off which account? How are you going to save? How are you going to invest? How are you going to contribute? And part of that money management system, Wealth Pie, I highly recommend you go and look at Wealth Pie if you haven't yet mastered that. And it's in the Wealth Chef book. You can also, one of the key parts is the play part. And it's super important in relationships that you also recognize that both of you are individuals and that you ensure you set money aside for both of you to do things that bring you joy. Individually, fill up your tank, play, and you get to choose how that money is spent, not your partner. And equally, you have no say over how their partner spends their fun pot. Now, when you've got this money management system and your rules in place, it's really important you have a regular money date as a couple in that relationship where you review your money goals, where you go, what are our plans? How are we getting to that? You review how your savings going, how your investing is going. You track your net worth. You celebrate. You also have a structured place where you can bring some money challenges to the party. So you don't just wait until there's some anxiety or stress to have a money conversation. You actually have a calm, structured way to have these conversations around your money, your goals, your investing, your saving, your spending, and what it is that you want from money, so both of you individually and together can thrive. And this is a vital skill to ensure that money and love stays in love. I'm Ann Wilson, and if you're watching this anywhere then over at thewealthchef.com, head on over there, and I would love you to share how has money and money conversations, specifically in the context of intimate relationships, been for you in the past. Were there specific areas that were difficult for you to talk about? Or if you did talk about, were you shamed or judged? What do you find difficult to talk about or communicate about in a relationship? And just by letting that out, can first get rid of any shame around it, but you also know an area for you to then focus on. So share abundantly so the whole community can learn and we can expand together and really help heal this area of life which impacts so many people. And remember, your wealth is created by consistent baby steps. Keep taking them, and most importantly, keep having loads of fun.